Cybermaterial presents Ask Me Anything Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for a high-energy, no-fluff recap of the week's biggest cyber stories. From data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special, live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. Without further ado, let's get this event started.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Ask Me Anything Cyber. I'm your host Prapti, and today we are diving into a topic that affects every organization moving to the cloud. So let's get started with cloud security posture and visibility. Joining me is my co-host and cybersecurity expert Sophie, the CTO of 911 Cyber.
Hi
Hi, Sophie.
everyone, how are you?
Great background.
Thank you. It's
How are
just like
you enjoying Halloween?
I'm good. I'm just like we're so close to Halloween tomorrow, so I like let's get ready.
Yeah, definitely. And together, me and Sophie will explore what happens when cloud visibility is poor, how misconfiguration can lead to data breaches, and how AI driven alerts are changing incident response because Sophie is an expert in incident response. And we'll also look at some real world examples of personal cloud compromises and discuss what individuals can actually do to protect themselves in this day and age. So, Sophie, a quick question, like just to give users, viewers, an idea about what the event is going to be about. So let's start with incident responders' perspective, right?
hmm
When visibility in the cloud is poor, and what kind of incidents become harder to detect or to contain?
Yeah, that's a great question to get this event started.
Yeah,
And when I'm from my experience from an incident response this responder
yeah,
perspective, when visibility is in the cloud and it's limited, anything
yeah,
that doesn't leave obvious traces becomes much harder to detect. So this can include like lateral movements between cloud workloads, subtle like data exfiltration,
Mhm.
misconfigured permissions being abused, or compromised services account. So basically, the more an attacker can operate under the radar, the more difficult it is to contain, because it might not even know which systems are affected or how far
Yeah.
the activity has spread. You know what I mean?
Yep. And in your investigations, how often do you encounter situations where the lack of visibility or misconfiguration in the cloud directly led to a data breach?
Um, well, like in my experience, like it happens more often than people realize, actually. Like a
Huh.
significant portion of incidents we investigate, especially in cloud environments, they stem from either like misconfiguration or blind spots in visibility. So things like overly permissive, like IAM roles or unsecure storage buckets, or
Uh-huh.
monitoring network activities, they frequently like turn what could have been like a minor issue into like a full blown like data exposure. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, like if you can't see it, you can't defend it. And attackers, they are like, they sort of exploit that every day, right? So
Hmm.
it's like very hard, like when it's not visible, when like there's a lot of issues related to that, a lot of data breaches. Like for example, there was one today, it was from Ernst and Young's like data
Yeah.
leak. It was like a massive 4 terabyte from an SQL
Wow.
server, and it was like publicly exposed on Microsoft Azure because it
Hmm.
was not encrypted, so it was not like secure properly, but it
Yeah.
was not visible to their like IT team. So
Uh-huh.
there was like, it was a SQL Server backup, and it usually like contained like full databases dumps, and
Hmm.
includes schemas, user data, and a lot of like crucially embedded secret APIs keys, credentials,
Yeah.
authenticated tokens. So they discover this like backup server like in the cloud, that it was
Wow.
not protected. So when we talk about like real life situations, like this is actually happening today. So like
Wow.
that's what I say, like it happens more often than people realize. So we do have like a sample today that is
And
coming up
mostly seems
tomorrow.
like,
Hmm.
it seems like it's mostly the lack of, encryption and protection on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and since we're getting a lot of perspective from incident responders such as yourself, so when incident responders rely on telemetry from cloud native sources rather than traditional on prem logs, how does that change the process? Does it make incident response faster or introduce new challenges?
So the main difference in that, like in that in the cloud, is like you often relied on API driven telemetry and rather
Yeah.
than traditional systems or network logs. So this changes both how you collect the data, how you analyze the data, and cloud native sources give you like richer context around like user activity, permissions, and service interaction, but then it can also be a little bit more fragmented and harder to correlate. So
Yeah.
just to go back to like specific question, like on-prem logs are usually more consistent, I can say, but they
Yeah.
might miss like cloud specific behaviors. So in the cloud, incident response requires like a mindset shift. So you are piecing together activities across services and regions
Yeah.
rather than just scanning a set of servers or endpoints, like this
Okay.
comparison.
Is like there. And finally, because people are using AI and these days, so let's talk about it. Do AI driven alerts improve the speed or quality of response, or do they sometimes overwhelm analysts with a lot of noise?
Yeah, well, so this is for my AI fans are there, and I agree
Mhm.
with them because AI automates a lot of things, like a lot of like threat detection, analysis, alerts. That before it was a little bit cumbersome, like you got a lot of
Mhm.
data dumps. So with AI, it help you automate like analysis and intelligence. But when we talk about, like you mentioned, AI driven alerts, so it does have the potential to speed up response, highlight
Hmm.
patterns that human might miss, especially like across like large complex cloud environments or
Yeah.
a lot of like data. But there's like a real risk of noise that we always talk about, like too many low quality alerts can actually like turn into like a slow analysis or like a alert fatigue that we always talk
Yeah.
about. So the key for like security teams is to fine tune the models and integrate them with context for your specific environment, so they surface the incidents that truly matter to you, rather than just like a lot of like noise and background information that you don't actually need. So
Yeah.
that's why you always need the human to put their hands on, fine tune that model and say,
Hmm.
you know what, we want alerts based on these specific data, ignore the rest, or just treat it as a lower priority.
Priority.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's very important to actually train your own AI model. So some companies, they offer you AI cybersecurity analysis, but some of them, they don't offer you to train your own model. So
Mm.
sometimes you will have to build it in house and get your specific design AI analysis tool that actually works for your software, your cloud environments, or anything that you need in your cybersecurity team.
Got it. Actually, we have a comment coming on LinkedIn saying that, hello, love the theme. Happy Halloween in advance.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Hmm.
Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions about cybersecurity and you want us to answer, especially about cloud security, we are here for you today. So make sure whoever is watching, all our viewers, that you leave your question in the live chat. Let's bring the discussion closer to a bit of real life impact, cloud visibility.
Oops.
As we were talking about, it affects personal safety and digital identity too. And what happened to this young woman was absolutely terrible.
Mhm.
We're just going to give you an overall idea of it. So, a young woman shared online that her personal cloud storage had been accessed without permission. Deleted photos were retrieved and misused, and these photos were sensitive and private in nature, causing emotional distress and privacy violation to her. She later discovered that her entire account, including the contacts and backups, had also been compromised. So, Sophie, when this happens, what can a user do? This seems like a lot of damage.
Yeah. First of all, like I'm so like sad that this happened to this
Yeah.
person, because it's like a terrible situation, and like this is like something that you don't want to go through.
Yep.
So that's why whenever you are setting up permissions, security, or anything in your like cloud environment or secure or tools that you're using, you need to
Yeah.
be very careful, because this is something that can happen to you. So
Yep.
we sort of censor this a little bit, because it included some sensitive information about the person and how this person was feeling. So what it happens is like with like when I'm talking about like cloud visibility, isn't just like a technical concern. I can say
Yeah.
in this case it has a real human consequence,
Yeah.
because this personal account, like person's account, was compromised, and it's not just data on a screen or like email address or passwords. In this case, it was like photos, contact,
Yep.
private information, so that people actually assume they are safe. So when you have limited visibility and weak controls, make it easier for attackers to exploit those
Uh-huh.
gaps, and the impact like emotional distress, loss of privacy, and you sort of like lost trust in the system, I can say. So
Yeah.
it's immediate, like, and very real. So for us, like incident responders, um, these situations remind us that improving cloud security isn't just about like preventing a data breach, it's also protecting people's lives and
Uh-huh.
trust. This person, although we censor it, this person is sort of, we're talking about like committing
Yeah.
suicide, or like so they didn't even want to go to the authorities because it was like
No.
nudes
She's young
and
and
like
she's minor.
exactly. So there's a lot of implications,
Yeah.
and this is because people assume that because it's on iCloud, it's sort of protected, but you always need to make sure that what you are doing, like when you put security in your personal accounts, you need to be thorough. You need to have 2FA, you need to
Mm-hmm.
be having ways to recover your account, and
Yeah.
also alerts are very important, because if you somebody gets access to your account, you usually
Mm.
receive an email, somebody tried to connect to your account. So you
Yeah.
sort of like, it wasn't me. So you go, and Apple support have like a very good support, so you can actually reach out to them and troubleshoot it and get access, especially because it involves this personal, like
Yeah.
sensitive information.
And so, like, what could like she do right now in this situation other than obviously telling a responsible adult and maybe going to the police? Is there any other step that she can take?
What I always recommend is don't engage with the
Person who's
yes,
blackmailing.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the blackmailers, because you sort of like instigate them to keep coming for more,
Mm.
because whenever they see that they can get something from you, they will keep trying. So don't engage, just remain calm, let your contacts know about this situation, because that's like damage control. And of
Yeah.
course, it's always good to involve the authorities, because this case involves like personal information, like
Yep.
sensitive images. So it's good to always have someone like backing you up with like a
Yep.
lot of like, like, because that's a crime. The person
Yeah.
who had access to this information, it's a crime, so you should involve the authorities.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that this person needs a lot of encouragement because they are the ones who is doing the crime and you're the one who is thinking about it. So I hope that you get the help that you deserve. And moving on, we're going to talk about security keys and iCloud hijacking. So another user asked whether using a physical security key like a YubiKey, we talked about it very often, completely prevents iCloud hijacking. They wondered if a bad actor with both the iPhone and passcode could still change passwords, regenerate recovery keys, or alter trusted numbers even with a security key in place. So, Sophie, what would you have an answer for this?
So for those who don't know like what like YubiKey or like those security keys are, these are the ones that this person is talking about. These are like physical, I can say like a USB drive or like a
Yeah.
physical key. So this is like a physical RTP. So it will always like be like helping you to authenticate. So it will connect the data from your physical key to your online applications, and they will pair it. So whenever you try to log in into like whatever you use this key for, you have to put it in your USB on your computer,
Hmm.
and it will authenticate using a physical security key. Now,
Okay.
regarding the question from this user, which is like if the iCloud can get hijacked,
Yeah. Yep.
if they prevent getting hijacked, well, the short answer is yes, because it provides a very strong protection
Mm.
against phishing and authorized login attempts, because they require the physical key. So it's not like they may have access to your phone, they can see
Yeah.
probably your authenticator keys if they have spyware or something, but having access to your physical key, like that's another level.
Yep.
So we know most scammers are overseas, I can say. So getting access to your physical key, it's a little bit like almost
Less
impossible.
likely. Yeah.
Yes. Unless you are being targeted directly. So
Yep.
somebody's following you and checking everything of your movements and know exactly what you're doing, and they snatch your key,
Yeah.
it's less likely that your accounts are going to be like hijacked if you have a physical key.
Yeah.
Now,
It's less likely.
yeah, yeah, but however, it doesn't make the account completely immune if somebody already has access, or a
Oh.
trusted device. Like, for example, they have access to your iPhone, or
Huh.
they have access to your device passcode. Sometimes when you log in into your iCloud, you
Hmm.
get a pop up on your Mac saying enter the code. or on your iPhone, so you can sort of like authenticate. So and if they're using the same location that you usually log in into your iCloud account, so it doesn't make it 100% secure, but I can say
Yeah.
you're like 90% like secure in terms of like comparing to other type of
Methods.
yeah, two-factor authentication. Now
Hmm.
what I can say, like a scenario that an attacker, they can potentially access account recovery flows. Let's say they're trying to change your iCloud password, they try to update the trusted phone numbers, or
Yeah.
even regenerating a new recovery key, which
Hmm.
you also is being paired with the physical ID, and it can lock you out. However, I can say like, because like physical compromise, it's like not that likely in this scenario. You are sort of like, you have an extra layer to say, you know
Yeah.
what, somebody's trying to get access to my account. So you sort of stop it right there. You know, like you contact Apple and you say, you know what, somebody's tried to change my iPhone trusted device. They tried to change my phone number. So I have this security key that can say that
Hmm.
it's me that is the owner of the account. So this is sort of like an extra layer
Layer.
of like showing Apple that you are the rightful owner.
Yeah. And it doesn't make it impermeable, but definitely a little bit more secure from hijacking.
Yeah.
And I really like what you shared, Sophie. We have a question here coming from Berwin. Do
Mhm.
you think a local NAS is better
NAS.
compared to iCloud and Google Drive, maybe as a more secure alternative?
Actually, yes, I can say 100% yes, because this is again the physical, like the physical like device that you have at home. And
Hmm.
actually, for those that don't know what an NAS is, I do have one
Yeah,
here too.
I did not know.
Um, so this is an NAS. Like it's
Wow.
like a physical storage. So let's say this one has around like uh 5 terabytes, so you can store all your information here. But the thing is, like some other NAS, they are connected to the cloud. This is an offline device. This is
Okay.
just like an offline storage. But other NAS, they are like, they can be local NAS, which is not connected to the
The
internet.
cloud. Yeah.
Exactly, which is like a network attached storage. That's what NAS stands for.
Uh-huh.
And it could be a more secure alternative comparing to services like iCloud or Google Drive. Now, there's a trade-off here, you know. It's offline.
Yeah.
You won't be able to access your NAS if you travel, unless you create like a small server that connects to your NAS so you can access your information on the cloud or
Okay.
online. So it's something like you have like a dedicated device where you store all your data, and you only access it when you connect this NAS to
Mm.
your computer or whatever like you're using to access the data. So that's this sort of like a trade-off of off the cloud and in the cloud. So
Yeah.
it is a little bit more protected. There are some downsides, like the NAS can get corrupted, and you lost access to everything unless you have a backup of a backup of a backup of your NAS.
Yeah.
So you have like 5 NAS at home with everyone, but nobody has the time to do that. That's
Yeah.
why the cloud is so popular. And but again, you can actually connect your NAS to your network to use it like localized management, and you can ensure that everything is like linked to your local network. But again, I can say to Berwin, both have both, like iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox or anything like a cloud that you use, but also have a local NAS that is going to help you protect your data
Yeah.
in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like it will help you have your data stored in a specific place.
Yep. Thank you so much. Another user is asking about something that I think I know about. Can you please post SOC analyst guide? And yes, we do have that. You can go check out on Cyber Material, it is there on the featured post. And if you want, we can also reshare it with you coming Friday and you can check it out. It is divided in many parts. The one that is currently featured is the general one. So if you want like a quick overview of things, you can check it out. But we also have the featured ones, which I'll share with you over the weekend. Definitely. Thank you so much for asking that question. Okay. Now going about with the another user is asking if a using a VPN when iCloud data is uploading could cause any security problems. They use Proton VPN to access apps not available in their country and wanted to be sure their photos and backups stay safe. So, can it interfere, Sophie, with iCloud's encryption?
Well, just to say, because I read the question and the person said, sorry if it seems a bit too dumb. I just want to say that that's not a dumb question at all. And I'm
Yeah,
so happy that somebody actually, actually is very
pays
smart to check
attention.
that out. Yes.
Yeah.
So here's my clear explanation of this. Using a reportable like VPN, like Proton VPN that this person is mentioned, and your iPhone generally does not create any security problem because for iCloud uploads,
Hmm.
like iCloud data, like photos, backups, documents, are end-to-end encrypted when they leave your device and in transit to Apple server. This means even if your traffic is rerouted through a VPN server, Apple servers can still decrypt your data securely, and the VPN won't interfere with that encryption. Now, a few practical things to keep in mind regarding this is like VPN speed. Sometimes the upload can be a little bit slower because your data is being routed through the VPN. Um, and next, the second part is like app behavior, because some apps can detect VPNs that they may behave differently,
Uh-huh.
but and it will give you a warning. And you need to be careful when you have where you, for example, you're not using iCloud, so you're using another like cloud to upload.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will have some warnings, so you may have to disconnect your VPN to keep uploading. But in general, like the combination between Proton VPN and iCloud, it shouldn't be an issue because Proton won't be able to see what type of data you're uploading, because when you upload to iCloud, it's end-to-end encrypted, especially like phones, documents, etc.
Thank you so much for your answer, Sophie. And yep, so apparently it does not interfere. I hope you got your answer. And now the next question is about privacy in iCloud backups. So someone else asked what Apple can actually see in an iCloud backup. Since not all data is end-to-end encrypted, they are worried that Apple might be able to view their browsing history or app content. So Sophie, what exactly is visible to Apple, in an iCloud backup, and how much data is actually protected?
Yeah, so this is a great question because I want to talk about like how Apple sort of secures the data. No, so
Yeah.
when this person says like not everything is end to end encrypted on Apple,
Yeah.
that's true, because there is like some services that Apple offers that you have to enable the option of
Oh.
to encrypt that data. For example, you have to go to settings, you have to go to security, and you have to enable like end-to-end like encryption,
Hmm.
because some of them they're they are encrypted end-to-end, like in transit and at rest, but sometimes they are not end-to-end encrypted. So it means
Okay.
that technically Apple could access the contacts of this backup if compelled to, including like Safari history or other app data that is included. So if your browsing app is part of this iCloud backup, the sites you visit could be stored there and they can access that data. Now, for truly private browsing, you want to use like apps that offers end-to-end encryption, or you can disable sensitive apps from being back up
Okay.
into the iCloud. But to go back to the other services that this person mentioned, like iCloud Kitchen, which is the password manager that Apple has, it is end-to-end encrypted, so your passwords remain like completely private, even from Apple.
Okay. So Thank you so much, Sophie, for your answer. And the next one is actually about iCloud emails. We are talking a lot about iCloud, so let's cover this. Another user said they are moving away from Google services and considering using iCloud Mail for everything. They asked how safe, secure, and private iCloud emails are compared to other privacy focused email providers. So, Sophie, what would you rank iCloud in terms of encryption, tracking, and
Yeah.
privacy?
Well, I'm not gonna I'm not giving free publicity to anybody here.
Mm-hmm.
This is just mainly purely like technical speaking, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
iCloud Mail is generally a little bit more secure and more integrated into Apple's ecosystem. So
Hmm.
for those who have like iPhone or use Mac on a daily basis, they are sort of like a little bit more, like you say, protected. But it's important to understand what it means for like privacy emails, because they are encrypted in transit using TLS, and they are stored encrypted on Apple servers, but they are not end-to-end encrypted by default. That means
Hmm.
Apple technically could access the content if they have to do it by law enforcement, or if there's a security incident. Comparing to Gmail, iCloud Mail does not scan your emails for advertising purposes. So,
Uh-huh.
like Microsoft or Gmail do, which is like a privacy advantage, I can say. However, if your priority is maximum confidentiality, like truly end
Mm.
to end, as we call it, there's a few services out there
Mhm.
that you can use, like Protomail or Tutanota, which is are like stronger, because only you and the recipient can actually read the messages.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not endorsing any product out there. So
Yeah.
because like it depends on what you're looking for and what are you gonna be using this like email for. So I don't want to be in any trouble here.
Yeah.
It is important for you to actually understand the risk. There has been some changes also with Proton services, in the sense of like like they are in the European Union because they are in Switzerland,
Yeah.
but there has been some like pushbacks in terms of like law enforcement trying to access their servers for like criminal activity and whatnot. So don't take this at like face value. If they said it's end-to-end encrypted, probably it is, but there's always like a backdoor or like any way to
Mm.
actually see something. So I can vouch for anything unless you create your own email services, like email service, and you do it yourself and you know that you are the only one. But again, if you're sending an email to someone in Gmail,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be like and do it encrypted. So
Because
again,
that's a different service.
exactly. And
Mhm.
anyway, what I'm saying is like you can create your own email service, and if you want to talk to someone, you can give them an account on your email server, and you can communicate there, and everything is your data, and everything is encrypted in your own servers. And if you don't want to use it anymore, you just delete it and buy. So that's it.
Yeah. That's actually a good solution for people who want like maximum privacy and everything.
Yeah.
And before we move forward, a quick look at the bigger picture. Last week, AWS suffered a major outage that brought down services like Amazon Prime Video, Fortnite, and Perplexity. It's a reminder that even the most trusted cloud platforms can experience disruption. So, Sophie, what lessons can organizations and users learn from incidents like this?
So, because we're talking about the cloud, and what happens, with cloud security and all of that, like just last week, I don't know if everybody was affected per se, but
Hmm.
AWS experienced like a significant outage on the US East One region. So, whenever you are deploying something on AWS, you have the option
Hmm.
to select different regions. Those who are in the East region are like everything on the east coast of the US, and those were effective. And it's like a critical hub that it has countless of services. So this impact, like it was like a big deal last week because it affected a lot of platforms like Prime
Mm-hmm.
Video, gaming services like Fortnite was down, like Snapchat, Venmo, Duolingo, Robinhood, even Signal and Ring, they were
Wow.
down. So what happened here, and it's not much related to like a security incident per se, but there was
Yeah.
a disruption to the DNS resolution issue in that region, which is sort of cascaded into failures across the internet, like across the internal load balancing system. So everything has been restored, we can say, but even like big corporations, they are not immune of these cloud
Yeah.
issues.
And it seems like it took a long time to restore it. As far as I heard, it took them about a day or two to
Yes.
completely get everything back on track, which was
Yeah.
a bit shocking considering how much manpower a company actually has. And even
Yeah.
still, then there could always be something that goes wrong.
Yeah. And it also happened like to Azure yesterday or the day before. And it's sort of like a lot of these cloud companies are having like some DNS issues. I remember Google Cloud also had some issues a couple of months ago, and also had an issue with YouTube like 2 weeks
Yep.
ago. So it's like the cloud is like the like the pillar of everything that is happening
Yeah.
here. So even though it was not like a hacking incident, it's still an incident, and
Yeah.
it's still like a security incident because there are so many companies that they rely
Yeah.
on like on this infrastructure. So it's like it was like a crisis.
Yeah, definitely. And caused a lot of disruptions. And
Hmm.
so we're going to talk about a little bit about the future and have some takeaways from
But we
today's
have,
cloud conversation. Oh,
yeah,
we have a question here.
yeah.
It's by Jahangir Sheikh, and he's asking, what is CASB? Where can we implement this solution?
So I hope you're talking about like cloud access security broker. I hope that's what it is. If you can confirm for us on the
Yeah.
chat, because to be honest, there are so many acronyms in cybersecurity that is a little bit hard to keep up with all of them. And every day there's a new acronym popping up. So anyway, what this it is, it's like a security solution that it's between like an organization's users and a cloud service provider, like a SaaS or like a software as a service platform, so to enforce security policies and provide visibility, compliance, and threat protection for cloud usage. So in this case, they help organizations secure, adopt cloud services, and they maintain control over sensitive data and ensuring compliance with internal and like regulatory requirements. So basically, like what it is like a security enforcement point between like users and cloud services. So it
Mm-hmm.
will allow organizations to leverage like cloud platforms safely, and they will maintain visibility, control, compliance. So this question goes perfect to the first question that we asked about visibility. So
Yeah.
yes, it will actually help a lot this solution to give like security teams visibility of the cloud services that you are contracting. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question, Jahangir. And another reminder to the audience watching us today, if you have any questions about the cloud or even cybersecurity in general, we are here to answer it for you. And now let's take a look at the future and, have some takeaways. So, Sophie, when responding to cloud breaches, how can responders balance like empathy and evidence collection? In other words, how do you make sure the victim feels supported while you're still gathering the technical details, because we did see like a victim, like it was truly bad, the first incident that we saw. So
Yeah.
what can we do?
Yeah, and this is like a more like a human question
Mhm.
as opposed to be like a technical question.
Yeah.
And like it is really important to separate like technical investigation from assigning blame,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the time when we encounter like cyber incidents or like any issue regarding a specific individual, we always put the blame on the victim because they didn't do this, they didn't do
Yeah.
that, or they forgot, or they were careless. So responders like myself, they always have to communicate clearly with them, and we need to be like empathetic and not to blame the victim. And we need to let them know that we're going to be containing the incident, we're going to be protecting the data, and we're not going to be pointing fingers. um,
Mm-hmm.
of course, at some point in the report is going to come up what was
Yeah,
the
what went wrong?
yes, what went wrong. So we try not to do it at pointing finger to specific individual or team or whatever it is, because it's important to learn from that mistake and not
Mm-hmm.
actually like blame shaming a victim, because they're already going through like a very hard
Yeah,
like situation. So one has to be like very careful on not to like
how to
keep like
navigate through
yes,
this.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophie. And if you had to share one actionable takeaway for the viewers out there today, something they can do to do this week itself to strengthen their cloud security and posture, what would that be?
Yeah, this is like great because we always try to be positive in terms of cybersecurity and not be like alarming or like, like victim shaming. But
Mm-hmm.
I always try to say, like, try by auditing and tightening your cloud permission this week. For example, make sure that, on a personal level, let's say if you're an individual and not part of an organization, uh, you have to be sure that if you're using iCloud, you have 2FA enabled. Your security devices are the ones that you actually want them to be. For example, if you had an old iPhone that you don't use anymore, make sure to remove it, because if you sold your iPhone to somebody else, they may
Yeah.
be able to like access your iCloud because it's still as a backup. So make sure to clean up any old devices that you have. You can refresh passwords, you can refresh connections. You can also make sure that there's a small thing that you can do on Apple to enable security end to end. You have to go to settings, and there's an option that you have advanced security, and
Hmm.
you will be able to go and turn on advanced data protection, which is an end-to-end encryption for iCloud in general. So
Hmm.
it will give like advanced protection, and you have to turn it on. And you will be asked to have an account recovery contact, for example, somebody that has another iPhone. So make
Yeah.
sure this person doesn't become your ex,
Yeah.
because
We have
sometimes
seen that.
we have seen some revenge X situations. So try to
Mm-hmm.
pick, if you have a sibling, or if you have a parent, or if you have a cousin, or somebody that is not going to become an enemy in the
Yeah.
future, because we have dealt with a lot of like X having access to your iCloud
Yep.
account because they were the trusted contact. Um, so you need to be sure to select a recovery contact that you trust, and you will have to save a recovery key, which is
Hmm.
like a a lot of numbers that you have to save, which is like a backup code.
Hmm.
And you can actually take a screenshot, you can print it, you can do something and save it somewhere that you will remember that this recovery key is. I know we always talk about the post-it, paste it on the computer, on the wall, or whatever,
Yeah.
but what you can do if you're like a very like organized person, uh what I can recommend, you can print this security key,
Hmm.
fold it in a paper, and you can put it inside your passport and then save it when you put your passport. So you will
Mm-hmm.
always know where it is. And that's something that you always have secure, because your passport is always,
Yep.
I can say, in a
Always kept
secure
in the
place.
best place. Yeah.
Yes. So save that security key. But you can also make a lot of copies. I don't know. You can put it inside a bottle, inside your toilet. I don't know.
Yeah. You can
Like
put it
somewhere,
anywhere.
yeah, somewhere like you will actually remember, and not just leave it pasted on your wall, because anybody can access your home. Or
Yeah.
you even are like live streaming and you're just live streaming your security key from,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like just put it in a safe place. So that's one of the tips that I can give you in terms of like we can call it cyber hygiene. Can we call it that way?
Yeah.
uh
Definitely.
s- Yes. So those are the things that you can actually do to start like giving some like cleanup and a
Clean up.
little bit of update, and it's always good to update credentials from time to time, because if you reuse those credentials, you know what happens, right?
Yeah. I think we have a follow up question. I know a follow up on the conversation we had about NAS previously from Birwin, who is saying that I was talking about the server NAS with the router port forwarding, so you can access it from anywhere in the world.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that means that you're thinking like a server grade NAS, like rather like a consumer or like a small device.
Or the one that you showed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But again, yeah, this is a great option because you actually are the owner of your own server NAS, I can say. You will have full control like over what type of like OS you want to run,
Yeah.
network segmentation, any firewall, VPN, whatever you want to access. If you want to have like restricted SSH access, you can have anything that you want because you can do it. However, it's not like the common of the users can do that.
Yeah.
But if you're like a tech person, absolutely go ahead, do it. There's a lot of open source softwares out there that you can just deploy it.
Yeah.
Um, Ones that come to my mind, like Nextcloud, you can use. You can just deploy it, and you can have your own like Dropbox, but is your own like data. But if you lose it, you lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a risk.
yeah, if you lose access to your, I don't know, AWS account, and that server is gone forever. So yeah,
Yes,
you can still do it. I
pros
mean,
and cons,
yeah, of course.
just
But
like
also,
everything.
also Dropbox can disappear as well as a company. So there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So
So,
this
yeah,
thing.
thank you, Sophie, so much for your insight. And this conversation really showed that cloud visibility is not just like a business issue, it affects everyone who stores personal data online. And, Sophie, before we close this segment, what message would you like to leave for anyone who still underestimates the risk of invisible cloud exposure?
Well, I mean, what I can say is like just because you can see it, it doesn't mean that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, invisible cloud exposures, they can affect anyone from corporations, individuals, and the consequences are not just technical, they are personal. We have seen it before. So, take control of your accounts, monitor activity, and treat your cloud data with the same care as your physical valuables.
Yeah.
So, in this case, I can say visibility is not an option, it is essential to protect your privacy and security. So it's good to be an organized person and to keep track of everything so you have visibility. But as one of our viewers mentioned, with the solution of CSV, it will help you tackle down a lot of the visibility issues in the corporate world.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for your insights. And before we head into our next segment, let's take a look at Cyber Briefing, where we recap the top cybersecurity alerts and incidents of the week.
Stay ahead of the cyber curve with real-time alerts, incident reports, and the latest cybersecurity news, all in one streamlined, easy-to-read newsletter. Join more than 20,000 subscribers who rely on Cyber Briefing, available on LinkedIn, Medium, and now on Substack. Don't wait to protect your digital world. Subscribe today and stay informed with Cyber Briefing by Cyber Material.
That was the cyber briefing where we talk about our latest incidents, alerts, and news. So if you want to keep yourself updated because you never know what's going on, it's all there. It's all there at one single place. And if you subscribe to it, you get a mail from us. And over there, you can read about everything cybersecurity, any major data breaches, anything that you need to be aware of, a phishing attempt. And I've even noticed today that there was this alert about AI cloaking or something like that. So
Yes.
be very careful about these things. So for our top cyber alert, we have X is urging all users with security keys to re-enroll before November 10 to prevent account lookouts.
Yeah, but before we go there, we have like the headlines read by an AI. Let's
Let's go.
watch.
In today's cyber briefing, Platform X is urging all users who rely on physical security keys to re-enroll them
In
soon.
the cyber briefing, here's what's making news today. Threat actors targeted Sweden's power grid this week using phishing and remote management exploits to try to cause disruption.
Cyber briefing. Today's headline: ransomware payments fell sharply in the third quarter of 2025. Chainalysis says overall payments dropped 35% compared with Q2, landing at roughly $252 million.
That was the alerts brought to you by an AI. And thank you, Sophie, so much for introducing us with this recap. So, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts about the alert?
So this is fun. We just created this video with the new version of Sora. Sora has launched a new like version.
Yeah.
You need to get it by invite. So if anybody wants an invite, please reach out to us. We'll give you a code to try the new Sora. And what is gonna be fun is you're gonna be able to test a lot of like 10 to 9 seconds of like cool like videos. We have
Yeah.
here Mark Cuban telling us the headlines of today, and also we have Sam Altman, which is the founder of OpenAI, also telling us the cybersecurity news of today. So this is fun. You can go and try it. You can even use your own persona to just like read headlines and whatnot. And it's turning like into a social media. So if you
Yeah.
want to stay into trend stuff, so go ahead, reach out to us and we'll give you an invite for Sora.
Thank you so much, Sophie. And it would be like something, I think, because AI has been something that's everybody is using. I think this is a great thing, a great opportunity for creativity over here. And so let's talk about X, urging all users with security keys to re-enroll before November 10 to prevent any account lockouts.
So this is fun because not fun. I mean, this is like on point because we were talking about the security keys.
Yeah.
And this is what is happening right now. All those who have used physical security keys to secure their Twitter accounts before X, they need to re-enroll it again
Ah.
because there's an issue with a domain that it was linked to. So those who have linked their security keys, they were linked to the all key registration, which is
Yeah.
twitter.com domain, and they're gonna retire it. So you will have to migrate your entire key to be associated with x.com. So you have until November 10th to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna get locked out of your account. So
And will that be recoverable?
no.
Oh,
So
no.
you need to do it. Only those who have like the security key.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not like an authenticator or anything else. It's just like the physical security key.
Okay, thank you so much, Sophie, for sharing this alert. And moving on to the next one, the hackers have targeted Sweden's power grid, and Canada is warning of critical ICS breaches.
So even though those hacks, they are not related per se by the same hacking group, it is related on the sense that hackers are attacking critical infrastructure right now. In this case, they attack the Swedish power grid system, and in Canada, they attack the water plant treatment system. So it's like those type of events, they are highlighting the cybersecurity risk to critical infrastructure. And what happens is like the power grid in Sweden, they suffered data breach. So the external file transfer system, it was compromised. So they had access to all the data of the users. And in Canada, they breached the industrial control system per se in a water treatment plant.
Yeah.
They manipulated the controls. So that's a little bit like on a different like a danger of level.
Yeah.
Because they can alter like water filtration, they can alter
Yeah.
water chemicals, or it's like very, very
Health risk.
worrisome. Yes.
Yeah.
They are not directly linked, but the key lesson here is like there's like a focus that cybersecurity is, we need to focus on critical infrastructure because it can affect millions of people,
Yep.
and in health and like on a personal level, physical level. So this is a little bit worrisome.
Definitely. And speaking of the cyber news that was shared by Sam Altman, ransomware payments have fallen during Q3 of 2025, suggesting progress. So, what do you think, Sophie?
So, it's half good news, I can say, because it's not that ransomware attacks have have
Ah,
fallen. It's just ransomware payments. It means
okay.
that companies stop paying the ransomware groups their ransom. So it
Hmm.
means that it can sort of discourage them to keep doing it in the future. So probably we will have
Hmm.
to evaluate Q4 or what are the consequences of these ransomware payments that they are not like being completed. So
Yep.
in some sense, they are like using like the number one advice from the FBI not to pay the ransom because you sort of
Hmm.
encourage them. It's almost like the same slogan, like "Don't negotiate with terrorists" because they're gonna
Yep.
come back for more. So it's very important to like these like it have like reduced to 23% of the ransomware attacks have been paid in Q3. So
Do
this
you
is a
think decryptors have like a role to play in this?
I'm sorry.
Like the decryptors, like, the Phobos decryptors and other
Could be,
decryptors.
could be.
Definitely, right?
Yes, could be
Those are
100%.
all good things.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And actually, like the lesson like here is like companies they are focusing more on recovery, I can say,
Yeah.
and they are a little bit more prepared. So if they suffer ransomware, probably they have a good cloud backup, and they will be able to restore this data. So that's sort of the connection between like they are not paying because the data you have encrypted, we have it, so we don't need it back. You can
Yeah,
just
so we have a backup.
yes.
That's
So
actually amazing.
it looks like companies are listening to our incident response planning and how much we have been talking about. Like, you have to have backups, you have to secure your systems. So it looks like it's working.
That's actually amazing news. Thank you, Sophie. We always end it on a good note, and I think this was a good note to end with. And thank you for everyone who joined us for this insightful session on cloud security and posture and visibility. And a big thank you to you, Sophie, for breaking down these complex topics and connecting them to the real world impact.
Yes. So,
I think it was really enjoyable, the background screen today.
yeah, right? We got
Definitely.
a lot of like Halloween things.
Yeah.
So, happy Halloween to everybody. Stay safe out there. And for those that are going to be on the East Coast, it's going to be very cold tomorrow. So, wear a coat.
So don't get cyber spooked, you guys. Happy Halloween. And do not miss our next episode coming up on November 6th at noon EST. Thank you so much for watching Ask Me Anything Cyber. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you next time.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next Ask Me Anything Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for another high-energy recap of the week's biggest cyber stories, from data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special, live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. See you next week.